Welcome to the Mind Grow Radio Storyteller Series podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Kathan, and I'm so excited to bring in today's guest. She is a wife, a mother, a best-selling author, a rock star Mobil social and AI consultant. She's a sought-after speaker and the founder of Another Brilliant Idea, Inc., which is a certified small and women-owned boutique marketing firm, where she's been serving up brilliant ideas since 1988. I absolutely love her, and you will too. Please help me welcome my dear friend, Mary Barnett.
Yay! And the crowd goes wild. Woo-hoo!
Yay! I heard
I'm so excited
to
be here, girl.
Oh, me too. I'm so excited. I love being in your energy anyway, and just
me
to
too,
start the day
girl.
like this. So good, so good.
Love
You just shared a story recently. Usually, I have the topics all mapped out of what I'm going to talk about on a podcast, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about until I heard an interview you did. You were interviewing somebody else. You were interviewing Lisa Reed. But you shared a story about you, and I loved it so much. And I'm like, that's what I want to talk about, is the power of decision. You shared this story about when you were the marketing fairy when you first decided to start your business.
Well, it wasn't when I first started. It was when I was desperate to get more business.
Yes. Will you share a little bit of that?
Sure. That's so funny. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So, and by the way, I have to say first up, you were on my show a couple weeks ago, and you rocked it. You killed it. You were so amazing that I had people private message me asking if I could introduce them to you because they wanted you to be on their show. So just own that, girl, that you are putting out amazing content, amazing energy. People want to be in your space. So just everyone who's listening right now, just know you're in the presence of greatness. So just putting it out there. Okay.
Oh, my God, I love you so much.
And that picture you posted of us on Facebook was so cute. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So to the story. So, so I started my business. Basically, I was so young, I couldn't find my butt with two hands. I don't know what the heck I was doing. In hindsight, I'm thinking, what was I thinking? But, you got to be ballsy, excuse the expression, in business, and you have to, just say yes and figure out how. So we had just finished a couple big projects and literally crickets. I was like, okay, how are we going to pay our rent? I literally, we did pretty good, but I was like, oh, man, I got to do something. And it was before the interwebs back then. I started my business in 1988, and so I think it was in the late summer of, right around Halloween, actually, of the next year. So it must have been at the end of 88, yeah. It was Halloween time. I was like, how can I drum up some business? And we couldn't afford postcards. I would call people that I couldn't get through. So I thought, what the heck? I'm just going to do something a little different, right out of the box. So I dressed up because I had some fairy wings from some party. And so I dressed up as a fairy, wings and all, with a little crown. And I took a bag of candy, and I made all these little, I wouldn't say Ziploc bags, it wasn't that tacky, but it was some kind of little bag, and I put a few kisses in it, and I put my business card attached to it, and I had a bag of glitter, which probably wasn't a good idea at the time, thinking back, probably ticked off a bunch of people, but I would literally walk into businesses that I wanted to work with, and I would say, hi, I'm Mary, your event fairy, and I would take some glitter out of the bag, and I'd throw it up in the air, and I had a little wand. I think I had a little wand. And I said, and I'm here to make your events and marketing come true. And they just looked at me like I was a alien, I don't know. And I said, who handles your events and marketing here? And they're like, oh, my God.
Not you.
Anyways,
no,
yeah, right. Not you, lady. Get the heck out of here. That comedian who goes, security. So so I then, after their mouth closed from being a gape from I can't believe you had the audacity of doing this, they would, shoo me away, and I'd leave a little bag of candy with my card. I'm like, what if anything ever comes up? I mean, I was so brazen about like, I'm just going to, if I can go, it's like a numbers game, right? So if I can go like into like 100 places today, I'm going to, maybe I'll get one, or maybe I'll get five, anyways, I don't even know if I got any business out of that, but yeah, I got a few phone calls from the police.
Well, something happened though. Like you were really firm at that point in your decision that you were going to make this work, and your willingness to do whatever it took and show up as the highest version of yourself to make that happen.
I don't know about highest.
Well, you literally summoned your inner fairy. So
I did. I was confident. That if I could just get out there and make something happen, that someone would take notice. And too bad there wasn't social media back then, because dang, I would have killed it. Like walking in, getting selfies with all these people that were like laughing at me, and it was awesome. But it did. It kind of like shook me up a little bit in the fact that I realized, it wasn't going to kill me to do a little cold calling. And like really, I've never done cold calling since. Well, one, because it really didn't work, but two, it's better to get introductions and referrals, from happy clients. But I realized that it didn't kill me. And I think sometimes we have to do something out of the norm a little bit just to realize, you know what, it's going to be okay. You try something, it doesn't work. Next, you just move on. So anyway, that was a learning experience for sure.
Something else I know about you is when you make a decision, you really show up in the energy of that decision, even if things aren't perfect or whatever. You have talked about the time that you got that really high dollar contract because of your willingness to show up.
Yes, which one was that? I can't remember. We've talked about a lot of stories.
You were, and that was another through that thing with Lisa Reed that you were talking about. I got so much out of that conversation. I got to tell you, I took notes and notes and notes. Mostly from what you were saying, a lot of what she was saying, but there was so much I learned about you.
Oh my gosh! And
you had talked about you didn't really know what you were doing when you decided not to be an employee anymore, and kind of.
Oh. You mean when I, after I left, in the beginning of my business, when I left United Way? I left.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So so I didn't, I never thought about, I've always been an entrepreneur. I sold, lemonade. I did backyard carnivals because my parents, we didn't get allowance. So if you wanted to have spending money, you had to make it yourself. So I raised rabbits and they wouldn't pay for the feed. In the beginning, they helped me get the cages and all that stuff. But they said, if you want to keep this going, you have to, it has to be self-sufficient. So I was like, all right, we didn't have a lot of money. So I would, breed my little bunnies, and I'd go down to the grocery store, and I'd sit out front all Saturday morning and sell my little bunnies. And so I could pay for the feed. And then, I've always been kind of an entrepreneur. But out of college, I got my corporate job because I did 3 internships because I was giving out great advice. And that's something that I would encourage your listeners to do, is always go to someone who's done it before. And, why do it the hard way? Always ask people who have wisdom. Go to a coach, go to, someone who's been in a business that you dream about, and interview them, buy them coffee, see what it is. Not that you're trying to copy them. It's flattering. It's a compliment to go out and ask these people how they did it. But I was told, do as many internships as you can, and then you can see what drives with you, what's your vibe. So I did 3, and I landed this corporate job. I think they paid $1 more an hour. I don't know. After I was there, they didn't have computers in those days. I'm dating myself. There's no computers on desks in those days. And I worked in the marketing department. I was a marketing assistant. And my job was to lay out the newsletter. And literally, I thought, this is so silly. My husband and I had just gotten married the year before, and we bought each other a Mac Plus for our wedding gift. I know, romantic. But we were both in college, and we had, I needed a computer. So they were spending $10,000 a month on this silly newsletter. But was why? I can have PageMaker, and this Mac Plus did not have a hard drive. It had 2 floppy disks. And so you put 1 disk in with the program, and then you get half a second into it, and you'd have to pull it out and put in the save, the whatever the distant save it. And then you'd save it, right? And then you'd have to, like, a few minutes later, you have to put the program back in so you could write some more or whatever. So it was called this program called PageMaker, which I think still exists. I'm not sure. But anyways, I told my boss, I said, hey, man, you're spending $10,000. I could totally recreate this on PageMaker. And he's like, well, we don't have a computer. And I'm like, oh, I've got one. So I literally okay, I'll just, like a little lunch bag. I brought my computer in every day, put on my desk. And eventually, after like 3 weeks, I'm like, this is bogus. I'm just going to lock it in your closet. So for 3 months, I had this locked in the closet, and it burned out. It literally, no fan, no internal fan. And so I went into the vice president, like I skipped over 3 bosses, corporate America did. Skipped over 3 bosses, went right to the vice president, bold as heck, and walked in and said, hi, I'm Mary Barnett. I'm a marketing assistant in your department. And I said, I've been using my computer to lay out the newsletters. I've saved you $30,000, but it broke. And so it's only going to cost you $300 to fix. Here's the bill. And he's like, not our machine. And he literally had his feet up on the desk. He was reading a newspaper. I mean, this is like so Mad Men, right out of the movie, TV show. And he's like, not our equipment or whatever he said, not our machine. And I was like, but I've been using it for you. Anyways, I'm going way into the weeds on this. But literally, I was shocked and as my daughter would say, gobsmacked, that he wouldn't pay a $300 bill to save another, like, $10,000. Like, what? So it planted a seed of despair, not despair, but of indignation. So I was called to work for this, there's something the United Way does called the Loaned Executive Program. My counselor from college called me up, and he said, hey, would you like the opportunity to work for United Way? Your company will pay for you to go work for 3 months. And he couldn't even get it out of his mouth before I said, yes, I will do that. I would get me out of here. So for 3 months, I helped raise money for the United Way. It was a fabulous experience. And I think the story you're talking about, which of course I've gone into way too much detail on the back end, but the story was at the end of the time, I was very sad that I have to go back to this mega global organization that sucked my soul. And the director of marketing of TRW, which is a credit union that I think has been gobbled up by Experian now, the marketing manager says, hey, what are you doing after this? I know the United Way Loan Executive Program is ending. And I said, why? What do you need? And she's like, well, you seem pretty good at coordinating events and marketing them, like getting us all, you raise a lot of money. Like, would you be considered, we have a national convention. It's called a Bureau Conference coming up. And we'd love to, hire you to like work it, like to organize it, create it, market it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, seriously, 24 years old. I'm like, well, let me check my calendar and get back to you. And she's like, okay. And the elevator's doors like literally shut. And I'm doing silent screaming, jumping up and down. Anyways, I'm going into way too much detail. But anyways, that was I literally called her back in 2 hours, as my husband said, make them wait so you don't want to look eager. And I said, yeah, we have $8,000, which was, to me, was $1 million. I was like, he goes, we have $8,000. And so I said, I think I can fit you in. I just need 2 weeks to put my affairs in order, which was because I had to give 2 weeks notice to my business, to my company. And they said, oh, okay, cool. Just bring in your contract and your PO and we'll get started. And I'm like, okay. I had no flipping idea what a PO was. I'm like, what? Pissed off? Like, I don't know what that means. But I didn't say that to her. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I had to drive down to the library. There's no Mr. Google. And literally had to ask the librarian, can you use PO in a sentence? So it's purchase order, by the way, if no one knows out there in radio land. Purchase order. Anyway, so literally I walked in thinking I'd be so impressive, and she looked at my contract, which I copied word from word from a book, and my PO, again, copied word for word. She stamped it and goes, okay, cool, your desk is over there. I'm like, oh, so I guess I started my business.
Amazing.
What a dork. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, but you know what?
But brilliant.
That was 35 years ago.
You say dork, but it's really brilliant what you did, because you made a decision that you never wanted to feel like that again, the way that your boss made you feel.
Yeah, and like I wasn't worthy or something. And that's BS, man. We're all worthy. We all have gifts, and we all have amazing things to give to the world, and we can't let other people, one, be the boss of us, but two, define our worth. That's not cool.
And if fear had stopped you, like if you had gone with that, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, who am I to be doing this, what do I think I'm doing trying to do this contract, I don't even know what a purchase order is, like you could have totally gone down the rabbit hole on that.
Yeah.
But you didn't. Yeah. You were like, let me check my schedule, let me get back to you. And then you kind of trusted, right, that the pieces were going to come together if you showed up.
Yes, exactly.
So
but you know what?
Good.
I didn't think about. Well, you're so sweet, Stephanie. But thank you for saying that. But at the time, I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking, I'll do anything to get out of a situation that I didn't want to be in. Right? I think sometimes that's a lesson to come down to. It's like, what is the lesser of two evils? Right? I didn't want to, go to work for. Back to that, I wanted to be my own boss. I'm the baby of 6, so I always say you're not the boss of me. So, which has kept me in business because I don't want to go be the boss, But anyway.
The employee, yes, same Z's.
Right.
You also made another decision years ago. You decided, does this feel like an episode of This Is Your Life? Because I kind of feel like I remember that show.
Yes.
So years ago, Mary, you decided that you wanted to write a book. And you even you created some visual props even to promote the book before it was even written. And like you brought it to an event and you started talking about it like it was real.
Yes, I did. Well, I was trying to do in market research.
And this past week, celebrating you with that book, you became a best-selling author, not only in just one category, but 3 categories.
Yes.
And that
very
is
humbled.
such a powerful testament to the power of decision. Because even though it wasn't ready, even though it wasn't written, you still embodied that decision that you made that you were going to write this book. And eventually it is here, and it is on the bestseller list, and I have a copy, and it's awesome.
Oh, my gosh. Awesome. Actually, I know this is being recorded, but I have to talk to you later about a handful of people have said, hey, we should go through this book together. So I'm thinking about putting together, like in the group, like doing it together.
Speaking of your group, why don't let people know a little bit about where they can go play with you. Like in the marketing playground and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. So, we have the innovative, what is it?
Innovator.
Gosh, isn't that funny? Sad. Marketing playground. And it's and the next week we're actually doing I invited the founder of SmarterQ, which is a social marketing scheduling tool. He's literally going to come in. I haven't even promoted it yet. We got him to agree to it. He's coming in to share the product and their new release, which is really exciting. So that'll be next Wednesday in the group. So Marketing Innovators Playground, that's what it's called, is a place where kind of share ways to be more creative and playful in your marketing. So you magnetize people to you, and you create posts and marketing that is something people would want to share, right? Because you only share things that resonate with you. So that's kind of fun. And then I have a group that I haven't turned into this yet, but to launch my book, I was blessed to have a handful of friends who wanted to help me promote it. So we have the Hello God book group, and I think that's where I'm going to host the kind of the accountability or whatever we're going to call it, journaling together time. So if you're interested in either one of those, just go to message me. I'm Mary Barnett on social media, or Mobil Mary is my page. So I'd love to connect with you.
And if you want to buy her book, it's called Hello God, It's Me, Martha, a 31-day journey from overwhelmed to overjoyed. And it is so creative and fun, and a way to really connect and journal and get that energy of connection flowing within yourself. Is a really great thing. You definitely want to go get it. You can get it on Amazon right now. So go check that out.
You are so
talking about decision. I don't want to get off topic because time flies when I'm talking to you. About the visualization props. Now, sometimes it was a necessary thing. It was It was an inspired thing that you created this mock-up for your book that hadn't been written yet. And and that you were inspired to bring it to an event like that, kind of got that energy really moving into that project, giving it life. But the decision, you really stood firm in that, and you pulled the visualization tool. A lot of people are like, well, visualization doesn't really work for me. But I want you to speak to for a minute about the power of what that felt like when you did it. Like, because we always feel dumb, maybe, bringing something that's not real. We get that imposter syndrome thing. Can you just speak to all of that?
Oh, man, I'm the queen of imposter syndrome. Even though I've been in business forever, and, it's funny, I think that creeps up on all of us, and I really call that the enemy. The enemy is whispering in our ears that we're not enough, and got to kick that guy to the curb. Get behind me, Satan. Right? But visualization is so important. I do a vision board most years on New Year's Day. In fact, I'm looking at the one that I made. In fact, I had so many visions last year that I had 2 boards sitting up on my wall. And what's really cool, Steph, is like almost everything out of this vision board has come true. One thing that I didn't even know was going to come true, I had a plan. I didn't plan it out. I just slapped it on the vision board, was going to Italy. And I don't know if I shared this with you. That I'm going to Italy?
You're going for your birthday?
Yeah. So I literally was like, people kept saying, oh, what are you going to do for your birthday? I have a big birthday coming up. And I kept going, well, one, I'm not going to turn that age because that's my mother's age. It's not my age, but another story. But somebody said, well, what would you want to do if you had anything? Oh my God, well, I'd go to Italy. And I said, if I could be like in Tuscany on my birthday, like sipping a glass of wine, looking over the beautiful hills, and just like in the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, like what amazing would that be? And then I kind of let it go. I'm like, okay, God, it's in your court. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm writing the book. I'm doing all this stuff. So literally a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine's like, oh, I'm going to be in Italy on your birthday. I'm like, what? Fast forward. She sends me a link. She sends me a text and said, oh, my God, I just looked at the itinerary. We're going to be in Tuscany on May 4th, your birthday. I'm like, what? What? I talked to my husband, and he's like, you have to go. God literally put this together for you. Like, you have to go. And so I booked the tickets like night before last. I bought this thing. I'm going to Italy. I'm like so excited. And I'm looking at the vision board right there, and it says 101 Reasons We Love Italy, works of art crafted by Tuscany. Like, it's literally right there. Uncorked memories. See your screensaver in person. Like, oh my God. Like, it's completely like, that's the thing. Your point of visualization, your point of putting things like the book, it's literally a 2x3 poster that's sitting down below it of my book in the old version. It's not this, it doesn't look like that anymore, but the same thing is, are you a Martha but wish you were a Mary? Are you tired, overcommitted? Anyways, it's all there, and I unconsciously look at it every day. And it's basically reminds me, make it happen. Let's make it happen, And so I encourage all your listeners to follow Stephanie's advice. Create something that's going to remind you. Like, there's another thing, Steph, I didn't share with you. Years ago, before I got married, I saw the movie Romancing the Stone. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay. She, in the beginning
Michael
of the movie.
Douglas, right?
Yes, and Jessica Rabbit.
Right.
Yeah. Well, she's a writer who's super, super shy. But she writes these romance novels of this, of course, it all comes to fruition. Again, she was visualizing of Michael Douglas being her handsome, rescuer. Anyways, but in the movie, she has this, when she finishes a book, she plays this dramatic music, and then she goes to her cupboard, gets a little bottle of alcohol that she's collected from airlines that she's been forced to be on. And then she gets her little cat named Romeo, by the way, gets out a fancy can of cat food, puts it on a fancy china plate. She drinks her drink. He eats his food. And then she throws her glass and his little dish into the fireplace. This dramatic, like this. I was so enraptured by that scene that I said, I have to get a cat named Romeo, and I have to get a little bottle of alcohol So I will become a writer because I want to be a romance author someday. That's what I want to do. So that was like my thing. I was like literally 21 years old. And I moved into my own apartment. I went to the pound and I got a cat named Romeo, who was an absolute love. And I got a little bottle of vodka and I put it on top for years. I had it sitting on top of my monitor back in the days when monitors were like big giant boxes. And literally, I never cracked it. And by the heat of the monitor, it dried up the vodka. It went all the way down to zero. And so I just realized this. So years later, so a friend of mine said, well, you need another bottle because you haven't finished your book yet. You have to have So I literally, on my shelf over there, I have a bottle of Tito's sitting on a little baby bottle. Oh, my gosh, Stephanie, this just reminded me. I have to drink that lot now that I have the book.
Yes! And throw it in the fire.
Oh, I'm going to do it. Kill me because you'll have to clean it out. Oh, my gosh. Seriously, I just had a wow moment. Like, wow.
This is so fun, right? It's so fun. I love having
me of that. Oh, my God. But you're right. I had that visualization of that little bottle, right? And the cat used to crawl over me when I was trying to write. But I never finished those books. I kept putting it off, and that's the thing. That was 30. I'm shocking at the number. That's probably 37 years ago that I had that dream, and it's taken this long. So what the heck? I'm just smacking myself for not doing it sooner. But at least I did it. Like, and that's the thing. If you guys are listening to this, use this as inspiration. Go get your little baby bottle of vodka or whatever you like to drink. Go get a cat named Romeo and write that damn book. Like, just do it, because you know what? The first time you do it is the most challenging. And the next book I write is going to be super easy because I've already greased the wheel, right?
Right, exactly. And magic happens when you show up in the decisions that you make, even if they're just in your imagination, right?
Yes.
Even like you showed up as an author before you were one, right? You owned that.
Okay, I'm laughing because we went on a cruise once before we had kids with some friends, and we all said, okay, let's all pick another, like a dream job that we can talk about so we don't think about work. So we're going to be something different than us to introduce ourselves to people. So the four of us would say, oh, what do you do? I would say I'm a romance novelist. And I had that persona at the end. Oh, my God, I just remember that, too. The whole weekend, there was a booze cruise to Mexico. And the whole weekend, we're like, oh, what do you do? I said, I'm a romance novelist. And you know what? I got some pretty wild stories shared with me. I'm like, no, I'm not looking for inspiration, sir. I don't know you. I don't need to hear about your idea for a book. Like, that's gross. Like, stop it. I have to walk. I'm walking away now, sir. My husband just laughed at me. I'm like, oh, my God, why are people telling me these crazy stories? He goes, because you keep telling everyone you're a romance novelist. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, that is so hilarious.
Okay, so there you go. It's another visualization. You are on something,
magic.
Girl.
Magic happens when you're doing that.
Wow.
Can you share?
Magical.
Can you share some tips, tools, processes, or whatever from your own personal growth toolbox that you use that help you stay in that energy of possibility? Because it's really easy as entrepreneurs to want to give up, and not stay the consistent route and not have that persistence and just let the imposter syndrome win. And you did not do that. And so whatever you're doing, I want some of that. What is it?
Well, I tap into my Lord and Savior. So I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And so every morning I actually have a little devotional that I do. It's called Word Before Work. So I have other devotionals I do, obviously my book, Hello, God, it's me, Martha. But this book is all about work. And so I tap into how the Lord is our creator, and he's made us in his image, so we are creators. And so the book kind of reminds me that I am a creator, and I'm responsible for creating and making the world a better place, right? So he calls it image bearers. But it kind of grounds me in the fact that it's not just about me. I'm here for a higher purpose. I'm here to make the world a better place, make the people around me lift them up, because I truly believe rising tides lifts all boats. So we have to lift each other up and help each other along the path. So that really helps me. Also, obviously, visually, because I didn't even think about it, that I've got this vision board smack right next to me. And then, and then put it out there. Have accountability partners or a coach like you, Steph, that will hold you to, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are you going to do? And then, or just a friend or somebody who can say, hey, how are you doing with that goal? Like, check in with you so you're responsible. Just like I never work out unless I have to go work out with someone. So I bought my daughter a jazzercise because she and I have been wanting to do this for years. So for Christmas, that was one of her gifts. And so I go to jazzercise with my daughter. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't go because I'm not accountable to myself as much as I am accountable to someone else. So that would be another tool is get someone on your team that can be a cheerleader for you, and then you could be a cheerleader for them, for sure.
Yes, and that doesn't mean you have to go hire someone. That means, you can find a community. Mary is in my community. She's somebody that I have masterminded with and shared ideas with, and there's people out there. When you decide that you are ready to accept that support that is out there for you, you will start to summon the most amazing minds to support you. Yeah. And I'm really thankful that you are one of the amazing minds in my world because you bring so much goodness to my life. I'm telling you.
Oh, you're blessed, sweetheart.
Good.
That's awesome. Yes, you were so sweet. Guys, if you are not regularly in Stephanie's world, it's a happy place to be. So make sure that you get into her world in some way. In fact, you have some amazing products coming out, girl. We haven't even talked about those. Your soaps.
I know. Well, this isn't about me. It's about you.
Wow. I'm just so thrilled that you are living in your, abundance and, belief that you could do something that's a little, products are hard. You're making products and selling that. That is huge, girl. And I'm so proud of you for doing that.
The creative energy, because I know that, before I do anything, I set intentions. What do I want from this? What do I want to be or do or feel or whatever it is in this moment?
I love it.
And when I'm in that creative energy, that is when I'm allowing what I call my source energy, that creator energy that flows through all of us, to express. And I used to stifle it, and then I'm like, I'm just going to create, whether I'm painting or baking or whatever it is. That is my divine energy expressing. And then it became a lot easier.
Yes, exactly. But so tell me, what was your intention in making the soaps and the candles?
I really like soaps and candles, and it was a way for me to infuse my energy into a stone and then create with the stone inside the candles and make it art. And then so whoever gets that, and I have a few made up, but mostly I do them uniquely for people. But then there's so much goodness of the love that I'm feeling as I'm creating for this special someone, whoever it is. There's a lot more creative energy and intent that goes into it. And I just love doing it. I love it. I love expressing. I love creating. I love making stuff and doing stuff.
Awesome.
And it's not always the same stuff.
Because you are a creator. We just talked about that. You are a creator. And you're, creating goodness. And that's so awesome. And what's neat is people can buy them as gifts for friends, and it's so thoughtful because it's something unique. It's not something that's by a big box store. It's something that, you have created with an intention to help them. Anyways,
your host is coming out. Your host is coming out.
Sorry. It's not my show.
Mary is an awesome host. And she, if you haven't tuned into her podcast, she's got the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. And
and I think I'm actually going to be switching it up. I think I've been inspired. My company name is Another Brilliant Idea. So if you need anything, AnotherBrilliantIdea.com. But I think I'm going to create Another Brilliant Idea podcast, actually.
Yes, girl. Oh, my God. I will be so tuned into that. Yes.
Because there's so many brilliant ideas out there that I would love to promote. Because that's my my nature is I got to promote people. Obviously, you just called me out of my hosting, but I just love that, and it's not, so I can't wait. So I haven't even done that, but you were one of the inspirations for that, girl. So thank you so much.
Oh, I love you so much. It's a love fest around here, and I really want to take a minute to appreciate today's guest, the ever fabulous Mary Barnett. If you do not know her yet, now is a great time to change that. Go visit her website, find her on Insta, connect with her on Facebook, tune into her brilliance, and go to Amazon and buy her book. Buy my book. Buy her book.
Yeah, and on Instagram, it's Mobil Mary. And the reason I just have to say this really quick is they're like, what the heck is Mobil Mary? No, I'm not a mobile notary. No, I do not deliver pot. Like, people have asked me those two questions. It's because I own software called BrilliantMobile.com, and it's a text marketing software that helps you build a list and continue a conversation all with text marketing. So, but that's why I'm Mobil Mary. So on Instagram, I'm Mobil Mary. On most things, I'm Mobil Mary. So Mary Barnett or Mobil Mary. There you go.
Do you have any final words? I can't believe our time is over. We've actually gone over, and I don't even care. I love talking to you. But do you have any final words for the listeners that they can that maybe help them on their journey to where they want to go?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's silly you hear the name it and claim it thing, but you literally figure out what makes you happy, you know. And then, again, you might not be doing it for money, and so you don't have to think about how you're going to monetize it. But think about how, you know, what is it that truly lights you up? And then just put it on a sticky note and put it in front of you. And just ask God or, you know, whoever you know, hopefully it's God, but if whoever's believe it. But ask God to, like, just open your eyes to opportunity. Because, like, my mom always taught me, like, God doesn't doesn't close the door unless he opens a window. You know, and like literally you have to kind of put it out there like, hey, I want to figure out how to make this happen in some way. Open my eyes. And then you never know, like people walk into your life that's going to go, hey, I thought about this. And you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And then, you know, you can like start working with each other or referring each other or whatever. But just like figure out what lights you up. And it could be completely random. It might be like, I love to breed goldfish. I don't know. But, you know, like put something in front of you, a picture or the words or whatever. And literally, that's what I do all the time. Lord, how can I make this happen? Like, you let me know. And be open to, don't just like my normal go-to, because I am a Martha and named Mary. And you read the book, you'll understand what that means. That I'm always like, run towards the wall. Yes. And I get, and I keep hitting a wall until I like step back and go, okay, Lord, what is it that you want from me? What can just open my eyes to possibilities, who I can bless with this, who I can connect with this, or just, you know, and it always seems to happen. Like the Lord just literally blesses me, like this Italy trip. Hello. Like, it's just like, it's amazing what happens when you humble yourself and realize that we're not in control. The Creator is, but he has created us to be creators, and he wants that for us. He wants us to be creative and to express ourselves like you, Steph. Like he wants all the joy in our life, like to be a Mary in the Bible story is Martha and Mary, by the way. And he wants us to the seed and just soak in the joy and the love. So whatever you can fills you with joy, I say put it in front of you, and slowly but surely you'll figure out how to make it happen.
Truth. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Mind Grow Radio Storyteller Series. I want to thank our guest, Mary Barnett. Thank the audience for tuning in and joining us today. And I've been your host, Stephanie Kathan. Yes, it's so much fun. I love you. And please go find Mary out there in the interwebs. Find her, connect with her, and you're going to want to just be around her energy. I'm your host, Stephanie Kathan. Thanks for being here on the Mind Grow Radio Show. We love you, and until we meet again, keep shining in your brilliance.